across jagged shores, and into the rugged wilderness, where lighthouses dot the coastline and fishing boats bob in the harbor. You will discover communities of fishermen who have built their livelihood in this picturesque place we know as Maine.
You can go to a store and bump into the lobstermen who are fishing in that area. You know, you go down to the dock and talk to the fishermen in that area. You know, it's a very personal experience here. This is why I still live here. You know, it is an amazing place.
Joel Woods is a member of the IAM Maine Lobstering Union and has been harvesting the sea for more than 20 years.
I can't even be far away from the sea. Like, I get claustrophobic. You know, it's a strange, like, knowing it's there is comforting.
As a crewman, his job is to be the captain's right-hand mate.
The trap comes up, I take the lobsters out of it, I measure the lobsters, I ban the lobsters, I rebait the trap, I stack it on the stern, and then he puts it where it needs to go.
Joel has pretty much fished for everything. Lobster, salmon, mackerel, you name it. Not a normal 9-to-5 job when your office is on the high seas.
It's definitely a different breed that spends that much time. I mean, 10 months out of the year, gone. You're only home 2 months a year.
And it's no easy task. Lobstermen take on Mother Nature all day, every day, while simultaneously hauling traps and pulling lobsters off the ocean floor. And somehow in the midst of all that, Joel found an outlet: photography. Through his lens, he sees the beauty of the seas and the job done by these men who are the salt of the earth.
The photos for me was a way to, like, just kind of break up that monotony, to make it interesting and you know, to look at things differently, because you just get on a boat, you get off the boat. You get on the boat, 2 weeks, get off the boat.
Since he was a boy growing up in New Hampshire, Joel has always had an interest in photography. You will never find him on the water without his camera in tow, able to capture these rare, priceless moments.
To show people who have been doing this job their whole life, and to show them a photo and be like, oh wow, I've never seen it that way. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty cool. Like, you know, the new guy that comes around and shows them what they're doing in a different way. That's kind of neat too. I like that. And you know, it's funny how these big rugged fishermen will be like, Joel, grab your camera. Joel, grab your camera. Like, grab it. Look, there's a great shot over here. And it's like, sometimes I'm like, I'm busy doing shit. I'm like, all right, great, I'll grab it. But like, get your own camera and take the picture, man.
While he has cataloged decades of photos at sea, his favorite thing to capture is old abandoned buildings.
I love it. That's what I do on my own. I go and I'll jump my motorcycle, I ride around the state. It's an old part of the country, one of the oldest parts of the country. And I just go kick down doors of old abandoned buildings and photograph it. It reminds me how fragile and how finite life is.
Joel's vision of documenting moments at sea have made waves on the internet and lead into many media opportunities. Recently, the Maine Maritime Museum reached out to Joel after seeing a video of one of his excursions online.
Somehow the curator of the museum saw the videos and says, we have a permanent exhibit, we're redoing it, we'd like to use your video. I said, sure. And then he's like, if you have any photos, I sent him photos, and he was like, do you have any more photos? And that's just kind of evolved into, yeah, like, I don't know, I guess it's a permanent exhibit now at a museum.
It's called Lobstering and the Maine Coast. The two-story, 6,200 square foot exhibit sits separately from the Maine Museum and tells a complete story of Maine's most iconic fishery. Joel has several pictures permanently displayed inside and out. But in exchange for his artwork, he had one request.
So I said, the caveat that I always put with anything is, sure, but you mentioned the union.
And they agreed. Today, the story of the lobstermen forming a union is displayed proudly inside. The lobstering community continues to make strides. Soon he hopes the museum will tell the story of how the IAM lobstermen are changing the game. In March, the union purchased a wholesaling lobster business and formed a co-op for its members. Before the co-op, the lobstermen would relinquish ownership of the lobster at the docks.
Now with the co-op, what we do is, it's called vertical integration. We retain ownership once we hit the dock. And until it gets marketed, some of them go to processors, some of them go to China. And we own it until it gets to the plate. So what we've done is said, we want that money. We want it to come back to us. Because we're the ones risking our lives, we're the ones putting the work in, we're the ones putting the investment, and you can't get them without us.
As you can tell, Joel has never been afraid to rock the boat for the working man.
Workers, we will get walked on until the day we die if we don't stand up for ourselves. And this is a perfect example for anybody who says that unions are not relevant anymore, that unions, they're not as strong as they used to be. Like, what we're doing now proves that the strength of unions, it proves the strength of workers sticking together.
At the end of the day, Joel wears many hats. He's a fisherman, a photographer, an activist, and an organizer. He is changing the lives of his brothers and sisters one day at a time. So when asked if he would ever trade and sail in these waters for a life on land, he knows the answer.
I don't think ever. I'll always have a boat, whether it's just, I'll never get off, whether I stop fishing. When my body tells me to go f myself and I have to stop, that's when I stop, you know. I'll always be near or on the water.
For the Machinist News Network, I'm Valana Cochran.